Okay, so I came across an unbelievable deal the other day, actually yesterday. So I posted on our local lake Facebook group looking for some jet ski lifts for the water because I don't want to leave the Sea-Doo in the water because it's kind of bad form and it's kind of a pain to get them in and out all the time. So this guy responded, said he had 3 jet ski lifts that he had and I could come get. So there's the lifts. It's kind of a jumbled mess right now. This one's crank handles broke off. They need new cables, some new bolts in some places. This one in the middle here, if you can see, is in pretty good condition. The only thing wrong with it is one of the leg plates needs re-welded with a new plate. And as far as I could see, this one worked well. Just a couple little issues, like this bolt here is bent. Other than that, it looks like it's in decent condition. We need to pressure wash it. I was only going to take the middle one because it looks like it would fit the best in our area. And then he told me he had another jet ski for sale. This Yamaha waverunner. It's like a 96, I think. Then I kind of asked some questions about it. He didn't really know much about it. Then he said if I took all 3 of the lifts, which were a real pain to get out of the water, then I could have this for free. So absolutely free, I got this jet ski, those 3 lifts, and he even gave me a set of patio table, like a patio table chair, 4-piece set. And it really is in good condition. Just needs repainted. I mean, there's no tears in the vinyl or mesh, whatever this is. So I got a steel, and so I'm gonna go through this real quick. It looks like it's in not horrible condition. I mean, for how old it is and the lack of info I got on it, the dude said that he did a carb rebuild on it 2 years ago and then had it out, ran it until it ran out of gas, and then never messed with it again because he got 2 newer Sea-Doos. It's not out of gas because I can see gas in it, but I don't know, we'll see. It might run. I'm gonna try to hook up a battery, extra battery that I have, see if it'll work. See if I can get it started. I'm gonna pressure wash it first. And it looks like water in the fuel filter, so I don't know, we'll see. I got it for free though, so this is freaking crazy. Try to locate the battery compartment real quick. That's a good sign. That might be the reverse cable, actually. I think that's what that is. I don't know where the battery goes though. Must be in this compartment. That is like stuff. I need to get some pliers or something. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna set this GoPro up, do a little time lapse, a little power wash action, see how like Okay, so I put a new battery in it under this box. It doesn't do anything at all, so I think there's something wrong with the starter button or the starter relay. I don't have a manual for it, so I'm gonna have to do some research online, find out where everything is, and hopefully get on to fixing this, or just sell it, make a little quick profit maybe. Okay, so I've gotten a little ahead of myself video wise, but long story short, the start button wasn't putting any electricity to the starter, and so we took this electrical box off and started checking voltages from the wires. Found out the starter button, it goes to here. There was no electricity coming from the starter button, so the starter button needs replaced. We were able to jump this and act as if the starter button was there, and you could hear the starter relay inside this box clicking, but nothing from the starter, which is under all this crap. And so the starter started smoking, so definitely gonna have to take apart this, or take out the starter and put a new one in. I thought it was right there originally before I took this thing off. Something to do with the exhaust system, but this is just more of the exhaust system, so I'm assuming the starter is right here where that wire is running from, this red wire to the starter. I don't see another wire for the ground for it, but it might be that black one right there. So either way, I've almost got this thing taken apart. There's this part right here, so inside the rubber there's metal exhaust, so this kind of in the way of these last two bolts, and so to see back in here, I don't know how good this is gonna look, but down there you can probably see the ratchet. Taking this off, that'll make it easier to reach these two bolts, the last two there, to get this part of the exhaust off, so I can reach down there to hopefully where the starter is, because I don't see anywhere else on this engine where the starter could be, and the only wires that are running to it are right there, and I would very seriously doubt the starter's in the case of the engine. So gonna get that back. It's super low on gas. Hopefully once I put the new starter in and the new button on, put some new gas in it, fill it all the way up, hopefully it'll start up. And this carb looks a lot easier to get to anyways than the Sea-Doo. So if there's carb issues, I'll take that off and clean it. But other than that, the only other thing that this jet ski I could see needs, maybe new spark plugs, maybe new fuel filter. Other than that, it's got a new battery. The reverse cable is destroyed, so it needs a new one of those. And I think other than that, everything mechanically on this thing will work. So, free jet ski, free Yamaha waverunner. Let's see if we can get it freaking working. If we can get this thing running and the engine's not seized up, then this might be the best deal that I've ever personally had, or I would say that anyone's had. It's gonna be freaking awesome. Okay, got that exhaust manifold, I think is what it would be called. And I see the starter. The starter's right there. So, yeah, we're almost there. There's a wrench down there. Wow, look at that. Somebody lost that bad boy. But yeah, I haven't even ordered the starter yet, so, and I really don't even see how it attaches to the engine because I don't see bolts, so that's cool. But anyways, the starter looks super rusty. Looks like it's been underwater. So get some light in there so you guys can see it a little bit. Starter is in horrible shape. Old starter is out. This thing is junk. Another little update. Got this thing off of the handlebars and pulled out through that tiny hole right there, which is barely big enough to fit anything through. I really don't understand why they do that instead of doing what Sea-Doo does and having them all come in here. When I changed the choke cable on this. It was way easier to get all the cables through there and all the way back, even though there's no room to work on anything in the Sea-Doo at all. I will say that's a better design. But I had to take the handlebars off to get it through there. And I'm definitely gonna have to get it back through there somehow. I mean, that's a tiny hole. This stuff's dirty. I think the button wasn't working because the plunger where the key sticks down into it and pushes that little plunger down, there's no spring to it at all now. And so I think that's broken, and this entire assembly was like full of water, so I'm sure that wasn't great for those wires. But anyways, I've got a new one ordered. It's brand new, one of these. So this is trash. Throw this in the trash pile over here. So I ordered the starter and that cable assembly and a new gasket for down here, because the gasket completely came off. It's a little rusty. I might use some cleaner or something on it, get it looking a little better. Even that part of the exhaust manifold just looks kind of crappy. The old gasket, I actually don't know where it is. Weird. Probably fell down inside the engine somewhere. Okay. Well, the old gasket was basically like turned from rubber to plastic. It's extremely hard. So it needed to go. The rest of the gaskets are probably in similar shape, but I'm not going to mess with anything else until we can find out if this thing's going to run or not. Because if it's not going to run, if it's blown up, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I might sell it. I might rebuild it. But I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of it anyways. It's really dirty. It's got a lot of cosmetic issues. All this stuff needs replaced. And realistically, if I like this one that much, I could just go on Facebook and buy one. There's a dude that has one of these that's $1,500. That's completely rebuilt. So it looks really nice. But if I can get this one running, it can just be a spare one for when people come over and want to ride it. They can bring their own gas, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'll get back with everyone once the parts come in. Okay, so I've got the new starter in. I got ahead of myself again. New starter in. It's hooked up. You can't see it. Getting the bolts tightened back up on the exhaust manifold. I'm gonna put the muffler. That's what I found out is what it is. Didn't even know it had a muffler. I'm gonna put that back on too. I did find out that this is interesting. So I found out that water actually runs through and around the exhaust. And there's another clamp that hooks to this. That's how it hooks to it actually. And then there's an exterior hose clamp. So there's 3 hose clamps on each connection, which is kind of odd, but it's kind of cool how it works. So we're gonna find out if this works or not. Okay, so awesome news. Switch hands. It turns over. So the start button still hasn't came in yet. So check that out. It's gonna run. I'm probably gonna order a new carb now that I know that it actually works, because there's probably some disgusting gas inside the carb. Because the gas switch was left on, there's still more gas in it, and there's gas in the fuel filter. And so I'm gonna get the gas out of here, put a new carb on it, and this thing I guarantee is going to run like a top. Super pumped up. Got the new starter switch assembly on there. I took the little pad stuff off because it looks like crap. It's faded. And I mean, I don't feel like it's really necessary. It was dirty under here anyways, so and I kind of look a bit like the bare bones look of just the handlebars. Makes it kind of look cool. So I'm gonna leave that off there, hook up this to the factory connectors, and press that starter button and see if it turns over. Moment of truth. Oh, I guess I need the key. Came with a new key too. This is actually like really nice. All this is brand new. Stiff little thing. Oh yeah. All right, so I'm gonna pump this gas out of here now and put some new gas in it. And I bought some seafoam to run through it, maybe clean some stuff out. I don't know that's actually gonna do anything, but I'm gonna try. This little cheap siphon pump works awesome. The gas doesn't even look like gas. It's probably gonna need a new carb. Judging by that, I'm guessing that there's old gas sitting in that carb, which is probably really bad. But I'm gonna let this keep draining. I'm gonna put the screws back into the computer, or the wiring box. I don't know what that's called. Put that back on and mount it. Then we should be good to try to fire it up. This little cheap siphon pump works awesome. The gas doesn't even look like gas. It's probably gonna need a new carb. Judging by that, I'm guessing that there's old gas sitting in that carb, which is probably really bad. But I'm gonna let this keep draining. I'm gonna put the screws back into the computer, or the wiring box. I don't know what that's called. Put that back on and mount it. Then we should be good to try to fire it up. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Are you freaking ready for this? Look how rocky this is compared to the other one.
Yeah, it looks like
It's like a kayak.
hopefully it starts.
I'll call you if I...
Need me to come pick you up?
Yeah. thing is cool. It's like, definitely needs a new carb, but like how well it idles for not running for 2 years. Like, oh wow, it is very unstable, dude. I about flipped it over. Oh my God, this is so much different than the Sea-Doo. This is crazy. I want to stand up and look under the seat, but it's like, this thing is so iffy. I don't know. I don't know if it has enough power to get back over there because it's so shallow. I might have to, I'm afraid I'm going to suck something up into the impeller, but it runs, so I guess that's good. I can't tell if that's just carb issue or if it's just like about to explode, because that was putting out a lot of smoke, and I put 50 to 1 in it, which is what I read online that premix you should use. It's a lot of smoke. What's up? Just wanted to stop this part of the video and explain kind of what was going on before we go into the next part of the video. So when I was out on the water and it felt like the rev limiter was constantly pinging, like I was pulling like 1/8 of a throttle and it was pinging, and so I didn't know what was going on, obviously, and then so I took it back to the dock, and when I got it out of the water, the hole was so full of water that the water level was up to halfway point on the engine at least. Pretty lucky in a lot of ways, because it turns out that that rev limiter pinging is actually a temperature sensor that like limits the amount of RPMs on the engine to keep it from overheating. I'm really fortunate that it didn't blow up, because how much smoke was coming out of it. Obviously it's 2-stroke, but that was a lot of smoke, and it's 2 because the alarm actually did go off for the overheat. And anyways, once I got it back, I drained the water out, hooked it up to the hose, and tried to see what was wrong with it, see if it was an exhaust leak or something. I started it for like half a second and there was smoke just bellowing out of the engine, not the exhaust. So and I'm talking about like seeping around the cylinders. It could be just coming from part of the exhaust, but it wasn't part of the exhaust is the reason the water was in there. So if you go back clips, you'll see when I put the exhaust manifold back on, there's a little piece of the gasket that lifts up on the top side. That's actually supposed to be facing down, so that way the water goes to the proper channels. But unfortunately, the water was not going through the proper channels, so it was just leaking out of the exhaust. And it turns out the part that directed the water on that gasket was actually just getting burnt up by the exhaust. So I ended up having to put the old gasket back on. And I put it on the hose again, started it up, seemed to be okay, but it still didn't explain initially why it was running so rough. So video will continue and you'll see some more stuff. All right, so I think I've got this thing sorted out, so we're gonna test it, see how she runs. It's a little freaking cramped up here. I already lost the jet ski once. I freaking put it in the water and tied the rope, and the rope came undone because I didn't really tie it. I just kind of draped it thinking that there wouldn't be enough force to actually make it go anywhere. So now we're doing this. Everybody leaves their boats here, and so I have no room at the dock to comfortably get anything in or out. Now it's stuck on the kill it for a second and let's take a look at the water. And there's a little bit of water, so there might be still a little bit of a leak, but that is nothing compared to what it was. I don't know how crazy I want to go on this thing, so I've got my phone up there, and the GoPro doesn't have a water floaty device. So if I flip over, I don't know, we'll play around a little bit. This thing's freaking sweet though. Free jet ski. It looks kind of crappy, could use repainted, blah blah blah, new stickers, but like this thing was free, and all I did was put like $80 starter in it, and that's it. So I mean, like, if you find a jet ski where they're like, yeah, we don't know what's wrong with it, they're probably lying. They probably do know what's wrong with it, but I mean, it could be something so simple. If you could find one for, like, I would pay $100 for this, and still buy it. This thing's so cool. All right, enough talking. Minutes in and it's not went into limp mode yet. This is sweet. Last time I rode it, riding for like 20 seconds and like instantly just went into like grandpa mode. So I kind of want to see what this thing tops out at. I know it's not going to be much. It's nothing on the Sea-Doo for speed. My phone's soaked. Dude, that's one thing about this jet ski is you ride this bad boy and you're gonna be getting freaking wet. Like, I don't even know where to dry my phone off at. All right, we're gonna get the speedometer app on there and do a screen recording. All right, put this bad boy back. Wait a minute. I think I just canceled the screen recording. I did. All right, here we go. Top speed, 94. Yamaha waverunner 3. Here we go. Dude, this thing is sick. People tubing. There's still a little bit of water. Again, not much. There's definitely still a little bit of an exhaust leak, but like, it's not overheating, and I'm running the absolute dog crap out of it. So this is so cool. I keep saying that, but it is. But what a chill day. All right, she's getting a little hot, I think. I've been riding it for like an hour straight, so I think I'm gonna take it back before I explode it. This thing is so cool. All right, I'll cut it once we get back to the dock, I guess.